Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gordon Frayne. We are back with another video. Today we're looking at TAO Subnets, and are we about to have a Subnet Summer? As always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below, hit subscribe, hit that bell notification icon, and don't forget to grab your completely free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin linked below this video in the description. Grab it now, and let's talk about subnets. So, if you're not already familiar with subnets in the Bittensor ecosystem, all of these individual subnets actually act like their own businesses in the TAO system, and they're all competing against one another in order to try and earn TAO emissions and rewards by providing the most valuable information to the network. Right now, at this moment in time, there's about 7,200 TAO tokens that are emitted every single day. There's one block every 12 seconds. And all of these subnets, there's about 115 of them right now, are competing every single day to get their share of this 7,200 TAO. Okay, if you're also not familiar, TAO lends on or has borrowed from the tokenomic structure that Bitcoin follows with its 21 million maximum supply. We are due to have the first halving event for TAO later this year, but from a tokenomics comparison between Bitcoin and TAO Subnet Alpha tokens, you've got 21 million Bittensor tokens in existence, but every single subnet token also has a max supply of 21 million as well. And that 7,200 reward of 7,200 TAO per day is going to be cut by 50% by the time we have this first halving event later in Q4 of 2025. So hopefully that's giving you a little bit of context. But if I jump over to TAO stats very quickly, you can see that Shoots right now is the largest subnet in the TAO ecosystem. It's garnering about 14.89% of those daily emissions of 7,200 TAO. And if I click in here, you can see if we scroll down, it gives us a breakdown of those tokenomics at the bottom of the screen here. It tells us that there's a max supply of 21 million. And right now, the emissions that Shoots is generating is over 1,000 TAO per day, equaling that 14.89% of the 7,200 that gets emitted every 24 hours. So I hope this is making sense. But what I want to focus on today is the opportunity with subnets and how we can be thinking about valuing those different subnets within the Bittensor ecosystem, because there's an opportunity here for you to be generating significant yield. I'm executing some mining on the Subnet 93 for Bitcast, and it's generating on certain days over $1,000 per day. Just giving you a quick insight into what's possible within the TAO ecosystem here. Yes, you're going to have to do research. You may not be able to replicate exactly what I'm doing on Bitcast Subnet 93, but I'm going to share some very lucrative opportunities for this Subnet Summer that might just be incoming. So this article from Unsupervised Capital is basically a whole framework for us to think about reframing the way that we value subnets, because as we saw with a lot of tokens in the last cycle in crypto in general, we started to see huge token dilutions happening, and this FDV, or fully diluted valuation metric, became almost like the gold standard for us to value different crypto assets. But the point that they're making in this Unsupervised Capital article is the fact that the FDV metric may not be the best option or metric to use when valuing Bittensor TAO subnets, because there's other variables at play happening behind the scenes that have a big impact on just how these subnets might continue to grow over time. One of those factors I actually mentioned in a previous video is the potential for the Bittensor network to follow Reed's law. Reed's law being a law that allows for a network of networks to grow at V equals 2 to the n, compared to Metcalfe's law, which Bitcoin has historically followed, for the value of a network increasing exponentially with the number of users squared. But Reed's law means that we might actually see the Bittensor network as a whole growing more exponentially than Bitcoin if it follows Reed's law. So this is one of the things that you could consider. One of the other things you need to consider is the fact that you have some of these subnets with the potential to outperform the TAO token itself. So the dTAO upgrade allowed for the fact that we have essentially all of these different subnet alpha tokens with their own tokens. And what I'm looking at here is TAO.app. You can clearly see that we have a number of gainers over the past 24 hours here. Is this the start of a subnet summer? I don't know, but you can see subnet 89 is up 84% in the past 24 hours. Subnet 108 up 61%, subnet 98 up 58%, TAO up 40%, FlameWire up 34%. So what we're seeing here are some amazing gains with some of these subnets, finding local bottoms at the moment and beginning to bounce and outperform TAO, the native chain token, on a percentage basis. The other big thing that they're calling out in this unsupervised capital article is also how the impact of APY has a big bearing on token valuation. Again, you can stake these subnet alpha tokens to be generating phenomenal yield from simply having them in your wallet and staking them into different validators. If I come over to taoyield.com, which I encourage you to check out, I'll leave a link for this in the description as well, but you can see some of the APYs that you can generate simply from holding and staking these subnet alpha tokens is phenomenal. Shoot, the largest subnet alpha token, allows you to generate 118% APY simply from holding and staking it in your wallet. Templar is giving you over 112%. Targon giving you 237%. Celium giving over 240%. So all you have to do is have exposure to these subnet alpha tokens and be staking them in order to earn potentially these outsized returns versus TAO, but also stacking that 240% yield APY on top of it from staking rewards just from having it in your wallet. Remember, guys, this is not without its risks. You do have the ability for some of these subnet alpha tokens to underperform against TAO as well. So it's not just a set it and forget it and, come back in a year and you're just magically a millionaire. You got to remember that you have to do the research. You need to understand each of these subnets on a deep level if you're going to be parting with your TAO in order to get some of these subnet alpha token exposure. However, there will be a number of subnets that end up outperforming TAO on a percentage basis. It's your job to do the research, understand the subnets, and make sure you understand the fundamentals behind the team, the community, the use case, and the business proposition that they have. I've done a bunch of interviews with different subnet founders. You can check them out on the channel. I will leave them linked at the top of the screen here as well. But run back, search TAO on my channel, and you'll see some of those interviews and overviews of different subnets as well. So this is super exciting for me. Again, my opinion is that the value of many of these subnets is quite undervalued at the moment. You can see some of alpha prices at the time of this unsupervised capital article was up at 1.8. If we jump over to TAO app again and look at their metrics page, you can see that the sum of alpha prices has actually gone even lower to 1.62 at the moment. I think we went down as low as 1.52 here over the past few days with a big bounce happening in the market at the moment. What this basically means is that you've got the sum of alpha, all alpha tokens making up more than, 62% more is the fully diluted valuation of the subnet alpha tokens compared to the native TAO fully diluted valuation. But again, the point that they're making in the article is that there's a whole bunch of different nuances that we should be thinking about when it comes to valuing all of these different subnets compared to other crypto assets. Again, what we're seeing, or what many people are actually hoping for, is that more TAO will flow out of the root network from that 15 to 20% staking APY into different subnets over the course of the coming months as investors begin to speculate and invest larger amounts of capital into these specific subnets. We're already seeing OTC deals happening with a number of different subnets. Shout out to DSV Fund, who are executing on different over-the-counter deals, purchasing different subnet tokens in bulk because they believe in the subnets, they believe in the products that they're actually building, and they think they have the capacity to outperform TAO over the coming months as well. So very exciting stuff happening. I'm going to leave a link to this unsupervised capital article in the description below this video. But again, like I said, it is my opinion, and again, not financial advice, guys. Always do your own research, but many of these subnets are substantially undervalued, not just compared to TAO, but compared to many of of the other assets in the crypto space, given the real world products they're building, the adoption they're getting, the partnerships they're creating, and we're seeing the convergence of artificial intelligence and crypto with the Bittensor TAO network as a whole. Very exciting times to be involved here. I encourage you to check it out. Obviously, do your research, like I said, because there is a huge amount of risk. There is high volatility with many of these different subnet tokens, and it's up to you to dive deep, understand what they're doing under the hood, and you can use websites just like TAO.app and just like TAOstats.io to do research, check out the individual websites for all of these different subnet alpha tokens, and you're going to get a much better understanding. That is it for today's video, guys. As always, if you got any value at all, and if you enjoyed the video, please just take 3 seconds, drop a quick thumbs up on it below. It really helps to spread the good word. It helps to get more eyes on Bittensor TAO and the whole crypto ecosystem as a whole. Make sure to drop a quick thumbs up on the video. I would really, really appreciate it. Once again, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification icon, and you've got a completely free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin waiting for you also in the description below this video. Grab it now, and we'll catch you in the next one.